Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and open up this amazing French memory. It is French. That's where it came from France. Somebody is actually making this memory new. It's new memory. Very pretty purple, and it's the same spec as the memory in here. It's a 60 nanosecond module. And which way does it go in? Oh boy. I'm going to assume chip up. So put that in here. Oh, yeah. Ta-da! Okay. All right. So those are in there, and they're locked down tight. So that's 60 nanoseconds of non-parity RAM. Should all be the same spec. Obviously, these are 30-year-old chips versus brand new ones. Now, I have ordered a new fan, so this horribly noisy fan will be replaced with a Noctua, but I don't have it yet. So I'm going to put it back in the 2500 without that fan. I have also ordered, as you saw in the intro, yeah, new Zulu Scuzzy. Look how pretty she is. Isn't it nice when they're not blown up? But to protect myself from ever making that mistake again, as you also saw, yes, I've got the proper floppy bird connector so that this mistake will never happen again. And you know what's crazy is that on the 2500, the proper way to plug in the 2500 connector, remember it's not keyed the way this one is on my 2500. So when you plug this in, on the 2500, this red line is yellow. So the yellow is the 5 volt. And on the other side is orange, that's the 12 volt. But here, it's yellow and red. Okay, so yeah, I'm not insane. On a modern floppy, connector, the floppy to Molex or bird connector, yeah, the red is the 5 volt, the 12 volt is on the yellow, which is the opposite of the color scheme of the 2500 that I have. On the 2500 I have yellow is 5 volt and actually a orange color is 12 volt. So the important thing is that this is actually keyed. So you can't screw this up. So right there you can see how it's keyed. Yeah, so I can't, well, I could mess it up. Of course, I could mess anything up, but I should not be able to mess this up because it is keyed in how it plugs in. So I should be safe. All right, so I've got my Zulu Scuzzy plugged back in. There's nothing I need to do to it. I did test this Berg or floppy power connector on a Gotek. It did not smoke, so that's good. So this is correct. And when I looked at the 2500 power supply that's coming from the Molex, yeah, the yellow's going to the red. So I'm going to plug in the original SD card that I had when I first started this process in the last video. So this should bring us all the way back to where I was in the last video, where I had my full Workbench install 3.2.1 with all the drivers for the accelerator card ready to go. And hopefully this will work. Now, what could stop the system from booting is I have installed that new RAM. And it's set to 32 megabytes. But if that RAM is bad, or if it's not installed properly, or if it's just not compatible, the system won't boot. So let's see what happens now that I've done this. Okay, I'm back, and I have confirmed jumpers, confirmed memory install, and we're going to go ahead and fire it back up. Let's see if it maps the additional memory to Happy Land now that the jumpers are confirmed to be set. And the answer is, why, yes it did. We have 32 megabytes of fast RAM. Look at that. So the Progressive Peripherals and Software Manual does say it can only use 80 nanosecond sims. However, if you look on the guides that are available for Amiga hardware, it does say you can use as quick as 60 nanosecond. And I actually scanned the chips that were installed on this card originally, and they were 60 nanoseconds. So the new chips I bought we're 16 nanosecond, and it's working. So this should be a really happy, fast card. That might explain why I'm getting such good performance when I run sysinfo. And if I go to memory, sure enough, there's the 2 meg, the 26 megabyte, the 4 meg, and then the 1 meg. So that's good. Go ahead and click speed. Maybe I'll try and install the MUI lib separately to see if I can get the MMU to work. So yeah, well, this is really good. We're getting 21 MIPS and 5.3 for mFlops. That's really nice. This is a fast 2500. It's a fun machine. And again, with this RGB to HDMI, it's just really, really pretty. So there we go. We have gotten the 2500 back to life after my horrendous disaster with blowing up my second Zulu SCSI. So we've got the new Zulu SCSI in there. We've got our nice Powerberg things, so I don't ever do that again. We've got a full 32 megabytes of memory installed. We've maxed out this 68040 that's in here. The original 68030 that came with this 2500 from Commodore is safely tucked away. I've got, again, the Zulu SCSI hard drive working. I've left the real SCSI hard drive, the Quantum, on the GVP card in the system in case I need that ever again. Hopefully I don't ever need that again. And the only thing left to do to this system, the last final piece of the puzzle, well, there's two final pieces of the puzzle. Let's get the floppy button installed so that I can reinstall the faceplate so she can look pretty with the case on. But also, yes, I need to get the fan, the cooling fan on that 68040 replaced. And as I said, I have ordered one. It's a Noctua 40 by 40 by 10. And when it arrives, I'll just open the case back up and make her nice and quiet. So let's go ahead and get this floppy button put on. All right, so floppy button. This was 3D printed by Chris Edwards. Thank you so much, sir. I have this 3D printed from him. I also have a 3D printed bracket for my Zulu so it can be mounted in a slot in the 2500, and I have access to the SD card from the external. So that'll be good. So let's see if I can remember how these go on, and we're assuming it's even the right one. So I think, so going like that, and then, I don't want to break it, I'm being very careful. If it looks like I'm being in gorilla mode, I'm not. I'm being very gentle here. Okay, let's pull. Okay, so after a lot of fumbling, I've gotten the faceplate back on. It's really, really close. Not perfect. It's a little angled, but there's not much I can do. I think what it is over here on this side, there's a little tiny circle in the chassis, and the 3D printed part isn't a circle nub. It's a square nub. So it's the whole square peg and a circle type thing going on. So it's not able to kind of lock itself in, so it kind of sticks out. But importantly, look what I can do. I can come in here and I can push the floppy eject button. Works. Slide it back in. Again, it's a little crooked because of that nubbin, but it's fine. It doesn't pop the faceplate off, doesn't shatter into pieces. This works great. Freaking awesome. Love it. This case is going to look so much better with the trim piece of the floppy on there. It won't look like it's got like it's missing teeth. So thank you, Chris Edwards. That's so awesome. All right, 2500 coming together. All right, so now one of the second to last things to do is, here's that amazing 3D printed bracket from Chris Edwards again. This guy, I tell you, he's a giver. But I've got this bracket, and it's awesome day glow. I love this color. You're never going to forget where it's at. But so yeah, the whole idea is now I can go ahead and just stick this in the back of the 2500. All right, so yeah, so this here, now you can actually see what I'm talking about. So this will go into a slot here, and I can mount it in, and I'll have access to this SD card externally on the 2500. So I don't have to have a cable dangling out of the front of it like you've seen on my 3000 and 4000. I have this big long SD extension cable just kind of flopped out on the case. That's a little more elegant. Put it in a slot, and I'll have access to that hard drive where I can eject it, run it over to emulation lands. I know you hate hearing that, but run it over to emulation lands and install updates and software to Workbench as it comes out. That way it's definitely a little faster than sneaker netting it with our good old floppies, right? I'm not going to show you this with the case on because you've already seen it with the case on. Why am I not going to put the case on, folks? Why am I not going to put the case on? Because we're not done. I still need to do the cooling fan on this accelerator card. And this case cannot go on for the final time, the quote-unquote final time, until that is done, because that means at least this phase is complete. This phase is not complete. This is not a completion video. I'm sorry if you were hoping it was. We have to get that fan on there. So I'm going to leave the case off. I'm going to mount this guy so it's out of the way. We've got our floppy faceplate on. We got our button. And this is how I'm going to leave it for now. And this is how I'm going to leave you all who've watched this video for this amount of time. We've added a full 32 megabytes of memory. We've replaced the floppy button. We've fixed the Zulu SCSI issue with a new Zulu SCSI. And we've addressed the horrible power issue with these terrible 2500 floppy connectors that like to blow things up. All right, that's it. Thank you for watching so much, and I hope you at least know what not to do by watching my videos. And then you learn to watch my videos and do the right things that I don't always do. Thank you.